My bad.
Yeah. Scott and I were definitely similar size, but I think our games were very different. Like in high school, I played point guard for our high school team a lot of the time, and Scott was more of like our, honestly, center. He posted a bunch, and he could shoot it, and he could handle it. But like you should have seen Scott Martin play in high school, the way he scored the ball. Like he was really effective around the basket, and then he'd take those bigger guys outside and just, I mean, he averaged 23 a game. You know, he was really, really good. So. I was recruited by a decent pool. I had like 15 or 16 offers. The ones I was most considering would have been, you know, I could have done to like 6, and it was Valpo. I grew up a diehard VU fan, you know, because of Homer Drew and Bryce, and I was a ball boy for like, you know, 4 or 5 years. So VU, Purdue, Indiana, Iowa, Northwestern, NC State were like my 6 that I was really, really considering. And then I had some like random offers, like Miami, Florida, offered me. I have no idea why. I think they were offering like everybody that was ranked in the top like 80 of the class. They just were throwing offers out. You know, I got an offer from Arizona State after Herb Sendek left NC State. But really, when I look at my recruitment, everybody started kind of falling by the wayside. Like Indiana, Mike Davis is recruiting me. Honestly, does a great job. Like he offered me to Lee Camp. This is like a storybook type deal. Like I played really good, and he takes me out to half court of his hall and like basically is like, look at these banners, and like offers me a scholarship. Which is like, I mean, if you're thinking about Indiana, like how perfect is that for like their narrative? You know, and then so he gets fired and they hire Kelvin Sampson, and he recruited us, but he didn't have he didn't have enough time to build relationships with me, Etwan, Scott. You know, it just, he was there for like a month and a half, and I just didn't feel it like that with, you know, it was a weird situation for sure. NC State, Herb Sendek up and just leaves. I think he was sick of recruiting against Carolina and Duke. So they kind of fall by the wayside. I go out west because he offered me to Arizona State, but I really didn't want to play in the Pac-12. And then with VU, like, man, I cried on the phone with Homer Drew. I called him and I told him I'm not coming. And I was so sad. Like Bryce was an assistant. Bryce and Michael Jordan were my 2 favorite players. So like when he's an assistant coach, like, I mean, you know, Bryce played at my high school, 5-year-old kid. My parents took me to the state finals and I watched, I'm not sure I actually remember it, but like, you know, I was in the building to watch the game. I'm a ball boy. I could tell you what I was holding, where I was at, who I was with when Bryce made that shot I missed. Like they were a big part of my growing up. So I used to look up the RPI. You guys remember CBSSportsline.com? Like when dial-up internet was the thing? You guys ever get on? Okay, Lewis, you know?
Ray,
so I'd get on CBSSportsline.com. What's that?
I said Ray might be too young for that.
Yeah, I think he is. They kind of switched it out once Rayfeld was into high school.
Yeah, no, I didn't have that.
But I would get on there and I'd tie up my parents' internet for like hours, and I would just look up stuff about like VU. And I'd be like, I'd look at the RPI. I didn't know what the RPI was, but I knew it was a ranking system. They had the AP and the coaches poll, and they had the RPI. And I would get so pissed because VU would go on like a 2-game road trip and beat like UMKC and Southern Utah, who were both in the mid-con, and they'd go down. I'd be like, we freaking won. How can we go down in the RPI? Not understanding that strength of schedule was a huge part of that. So like I was really, really upset calling Homer Drew, and he could not have been nicer to me when I told him I was not coming to school there. Like some coaches you call them, I had an assistant coach literally just hang the phone up. I was like, dude, I was doing you a favor by calling. Like I was being nice. Click. So nice to me. You know, he was, and if they had been going to the tournament more, man, I might have done it. Like I loved them. I really, so I was recruited by a decent amount, but at the end of the day, like Etwan and I and AU had talked about kind of playing together. And, you know, once everybody committed, Juwan was first and Etwan and I committed, and then the pressure was on Scott to do it, you know. Certainly there, I think it came down. I want to say Coach Painter had offered Scott and Matt Howard for that spot. And I think both of them wanted to come. Matt might not say it now, but at the time, I don't think he was necessarily like a Butler lock. So the pressure certainly was on there. And, it was just Payne did a good job recruiting us, honestly. And so did Zoe and so did Coach Lusk. Those three were really, really involved with us the whole time.